My name is Emily. I live in Chicago with my husband Daniel and our 8-year-old son Ethan. Daniel and I have been married for 10 years. For the world, we are a happy couple. A neat little family with smiles and photographs, birthday balloons, and weekend cookouts. We own a house with a little garden where Ethan plays with his toy cars, and everything, at least from the outside, seems perfect. Daniel works long hours in finance. He's responsible, caring, and the kind of man people describe as a rock, a steady father, a loyal husband. And for a long time, I believed that was enough. 6 months ago, we hired someone to help around the house. His name is Lucas. Young, quiet, maybe 25. He does chores, waters the plants, sometimes plays with Ethan when I'm busy. He never talks much, always nods, smiles politely, keeps to himself. At first, I barely noticed him. He was just part of the house, like furniture that moves. But then one evening, everything shifted. I got home late from work. The lights were dim. Daniel was still at the office. Ethan was already asleep, and Lucas was in the kitchen, reading a book by the window. I don't know what made me sit down with him. Maybe it was the silence, maybe the loneliness I'd been ignoring for years. We started talking. Just simple things. Where he's from, why he came to Chicago, how he doesn't have family here. There was something about the way he spoke. Calm, slow, almost like he was from a different time. That night, I stayed longer than I should have. We didn't touch. We didn't even sit close. But something was planted. A spark I couldn't unfeel. A week later, Daniel had to leave for a business trip. 3 days away. Just me, Ethan, and Lucas under the same roof. The first night, we ate dinner together after Ethan went to sleep. I poured wine. He laughed, really laughed, and I realized it had been years since someone looked at me like I mattered. After dinner, we were in the kitchen. I don't remember what we were talking about. Maybe nothing. I looked at him, and he looked back, and I kissed him. Just once. A quick, trembling kiss. Then I pulled back, stunned by my own action. This was a mistake, I said, stepping away, my heart pounding. He didn't say a word, just looked at me with those quiet eyes. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept turning in bed, thinking about Daniel, about what I had done. I told myself it meant nothing, that it would never happen again. But lies told to yourself are the ones that grow the fastest. A few days later, it happened again. And this time, I didn't stop it. I let the kiss linger. I let the moment unfold. And in that moment, I crossed a line I couldn't uncross. After that, everything changed. The days went on, but something in me had shifted. I couldn't stop thinking about it, about him. Every time I looked at Daniel, guilt burned like acid in my chest. I still loved him. I did. But something inside me had broken. Lucas and I never talked about what happened. We didn't need to. We just knew. We avoided each other when Daniel was around. When we were alone, we exchanged glances, careful, but charged. Every time I kissed Daniel, I saw Lucas in my mind. Every time I played with Ethan, I felt like a liar. It was eating me alive. Then, as if fate wasn't done punishing me, I discovered Daniel was also hiding something. I saw a message on his phone one night. Soft words from a woman I didn't know. At first, I felt rage, betrayal. But then came the realization. I had no right to be angry. I had done the same, maybe worse. We were both lying, both drowning in our own secrets. And I didn't know how to fix any of it. Should I confess? Should I ask him about the woman? Or should we just keep pretending like the strangers we had become? but something inside me cracked. One night, I looked at Daniel as he slept beside me, the man who once made me believe in forever, and I felt an unbearable sadness. I had broken his trust, and he had broken mine. And yet here we were, still sleeping in the same bed, still pretending nothing was wrong. I couldn't take it anymore. The weight of the lie was crushing me. So one night, after dinner, after Ethan had gone to sleep and Lucas had gone home, I sat across from Daniel in the living room. I looked at him, really looked at him, and I said, "I need to tell you something." He looked at me, puzzled. "What is it?" I hesitated, my voice shaking. "There's someone else. His name is Lucas. It started when you were away. I'm sorry." I couldn't look him in the eye. I expected him to shout, to break things, to leave. But he didn't. After a long, painful silence, he said, "I've been seeing someone too." My breath caught. He explained. It started a few months ago. He hadn't meant for it to happen either. We sat there, two broken people holding shattered truths. We didn't speak for a long time. Then slowly, we began to talk. Really talk. About the years we drifted. The silence. The loneliness. The nights we felt invisible. And somehow, in that wreckage, we found something we thought we'd lost. Honesty. It hurt. It broke us open. But it also reminded us of what we used to be. And what we still could be. We didn't have all the answers that night. But we knew one thing. We weren't ready to let go. Not yet. We made some difficult but necessary changes. The first was letting Lucas go. It wasn't easy. Not for me, not for Ethan. But deep down, we both knew it was the right thing to do. The silence in the house after he left was sharp, almost unbearable. It echoed in the halls like a ghost of everything we had tried to hide. Ethan asked where Lucas had gone, and I told him he'd found another job. It wasn't a complete lie, but it wasn't the truth either. That was the hardest part, shielding our son from a storm he couldn't understand. Daniel and I made a decision that night. To try, really try. We began going to marriage counseling every week. At first, it was brutal. We were forced to sit across from each other and speak out loud the things we had buried deep inside. Pain, betrayal, loneliness, regret. The counselor didn't let us hide. "Why did you kiss Lucas?" she asked me one day, her voice calm but piercing. I hesitated. I wanted to say I didn't know. But that wasn't true. So I told her. I told her I felt invisible. That Daniel was always working, always away. That Lucas looked at me like I mattered. That for a moment, I didn't feel like a mother or a wife or someone's afterthought. I felt alive. Daniel's face crumbled a little when he heard that. But he didn't interrupt. We both needed to hear the truth, no matter how much it stung. Trust is a fragile thing. Once broken, it doesn't come back in a moment. It comes back in inches, in late-night talks, in small acts of faith. After I confessed everything to Daniel, I could feel the shift. He didn't trust me the same way. He didn't say it, but I saw it in the way he watched me when I checked my phone, in the way he asked me where I was if I came home late. I didn't blame him. I felt the same about him. Trust had become a mirror with a crack running through the center. Our counselor told us that healing would take time, that patience was our only way back. So I started showing Daniel, not just telling him, that I was here, that I loved him, that I was sorry. And he showed me the same. He started coming home earlier. We cooked dinner together. We played board games with Ethan and took walks in the park. There were still silences, still awkwardness, but something was growing again between us. Something tender. One night, when the house was quiet and Ethan had gone to bed, I finally asked the question I'd been avoiding. Who was she? Daniel froze. His eyes dropped. Her name was Lisa, he said after a moment. She works at my office. I felt something twist inside me. Do you still see her? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. No, he said quickly. It ended before you told me about Lucas. His words gave me a small breath of relief, but the pain was still there. He had betrayed me while I was busy holding our family together. But then again, I had betrayed him too. We sat in silence for a long time, both grieving the trust we had lost. Then Daniel looked at me, his voice raw. I'm sorry, Emily. I made a mistake. But I love you. I don't want to lose you. I reached for his hand. I love you too, I said. And I meant it, more than ever. We both had scars now. But we also had a chance. Over the next few months, we kept working. Slowly, carefully, we built our trust again. We talked more, held nothing back, made new rules. If something hurt, we'd talk. No more secrets, no more pretending. And it worked. Ethan started smiling more. He stopped asking about Lucas. He was just happy to have both his parents back. Really back. We went to the zoo, built pillow forts in the living room, took silly photos on Sunday mornings. Our home was healing. But some days were hard. Some days I'd catch myself thinking about Lucas, not because I missed him, but because I still carried the weight of what I'd done. And I wondered if Daniel ever thought about Lisa. But we didn't let those thoughts take root. We chose each other. Every single day. 1 year after it all fell apart, Daniel and I took a weekend trip, just the two of us. We left Ethan with my sister and drove to a quiet beach town. It was our first time alone in years. We walked barefoot on the sand, ate seafood by candlelight, and talked about the life we almost lost. On the last night, as we watched the sunset bleed into the ocean, Daniel pulled a small box from his jacket. My heart stopped. Inside was a new wedding ring. Simple, elegant, gold. I want us to start fresh, he said. A new ring, for a new beginning. Tears flooded my eyes. I thought about every moment that had led us here. The mistakes, the pain, the silence, the forgiveness. I love you, Daniel, I whispered, sliding the ring onto my finger. I love you too, Emily, he said. We kissed under the fading light, not as the couple we used to be, but as the couple we had become, honest, imperfect, and real. Today, our life isn't flawless, but it's filled with something better than perfection. Truth. We laugh more, talk more, and never hide. Ethan is growing fast, his smile bright, his world whole. He doesn't remember much about Lucas, and I'm grateful. I want him to grow up in a home where love is honest, and mistakes are met with grace. Sometimes, I still think about the past. But I don't live there anymore. We've built something new, stronger, deeper, more resilient. And every single day, I'm thankful we didn't give up. Marriage is hard. But love, real love, is worth fighting for. We're not perfect. But we're real. And that's what matters. If this story touched your heart, if somewhere along the way, you saw a part of yourself in it, if you still believe that love, forgiveness, and truth can survive even after everything falls apart, then please, subscribe to this channel. Your one subscribe gives us the strength to keep telling real, honest, and deeply emotional stories like this one. It shows that you're one of those rare people who still believe in love. The kind of love that can break, but also heal. If this meant something to you, give it a like, and if your heart whispered someone's name while listening, share it with them. Because sometimes, forgiveness is the purest form of love.